Nearly everybody should have an emergency weather band radio in their prep kit. So today what we're going to do is look at 3 of the most popular weather band radios that we could find. First up is the Power. It is one of the #1 sellers on Amazon for emergency weather radios. This one claims to have a 2000 milliamp hour power bank that has USB, solar, hand crank, or AAA battery charging, and this is the only one of the bunch that can operate with AAA batteries. It doesn't claim in any of their packaging to be a NOAA weather alert radio, but it does have the weather band stations. It claims to be IPX3, which is splash proof, and to have a 1-watt flashlight. Next one up is this green one. Neither the packaging nor the listing on Amazon have a brand, but Amazon sells about 5,000 a month, so it's clearly very popular. This one has claimed 4,000 milliamp hour battery, IPX3 splash proof rating, has LED with an LED reading light. It is charged through USB, solar, or hand crank. Also inside of the packaging or on any of the documentation doesn't seem to have weather alerts, but does get weather band information. Last up is the Midland weather band radio. This is a very popular radio that they've been making for quite a while, it seems. In their information, they claim a 2600 milliamp hour battery, and you can actually open up the battery compartment and see that the battery has a stated 2600 milliamp hour lifespan. Now, with all of these different emergency weather radios, let's talk about charging. So I ran them all out to completely dead batteries and then tried hand cranking them for 5 minutes each. I did this test 3 times for all of these radios. I would crank them for 5 minutes and then run the radio at medium volume at same radio station and see how long the batteries would last. When using the Power, 5 minutes of hand cranking averaged out to 3 minutes of radio time. When using the green one, 5 minutes of cranking would average out to 4 minutes of radio. And kind of disappointingly with the Midland, 5 minutes of cranking usually wasn't enough to power the radio enough to even turn on. If I cranked another 5 minutes, it would give me about 5 minutes, 6 minutes run time, but 10 minutes of cranking is a lot for just that. One other point to make with these weather band radios is I left all 3 outside on a very sunny day, more than 4 hours, when they were nearly all dead batteries, and none of them really charged appreciably. So either I had the wrong angle or something else, but none of them really charged up in any way that I would call significant. So I wouldn't personally trust any of them with the solar charger. I think it's kind of a false promise, false packaging, so to speak, on all of them. I would just not trust that one bit. I left all 3 outside on a very nice rainy Florida day, so to find out how they would perform if they encountered some water. Both the Power and the green one functioned just fine. The Midland really did too, even though it doesn't have any kind of IPX rating. The Midland had some moisture in the solar screen and a little bit in front of the LCD display. Again, it's a little unfair to the Midland because it isn't splash rated at all, but they all did hold up just fine with a pretty heavy Florida rain. So as long as they're not getting dunked in a pool or something, I think they would be okay in my testing. I also tried dropping all of them to kind of emulate real-world emergency conditions and not being totally careful. All of them handled multiple drops without any real problems or phasing or anything really breaking off. So as far as durability, I can give them all pretty good rating in that regard. Frost power, audio.
Bankful stage is 4.2 feet. Forecast. The river will oscillate around flood stage with a maximum value of...
As you can see here, it's a little hard to adjust the tuning settings perfectly on the Frost power. I could only pick up one channel, one station with the Frost power. Here we are testing the audio on the green one, and in this case it has a lot better audio than the Frost power. And as you can see, this one also has manual tuning. And we could catch two different stations with this green one versus the one of the Frost power. So overall, it seems to have a little bit better reception than the Frost power, but a little bit hard to find the channel just manually with the dial. Audio testing with the Midland. Overall, the Midland seemed to be the best performer to me. Unfortunately, I did this radio test after doing the rain test, and the audio quality suffered a little bit after getting the rain. But overall, you can tell it still has, I would say, the best audio. I do like that you can click the buttons and it will take you directly to the channels that are working. And this one captured two different stations, so same as the green one. Overall, great reception. Alright, for the Frost power overall, this one is my least favorite of the bunch. It had the worst reception, and it was the hardest to find radio stations. So overall, just sort of seemed to have the lowest quality there. It has the dimmest bulb, light bulb on it, although it does have kind of that little reading light feature, which it is nice, but I would say it's like worth it exactly. The battery performance, it seemed to perform pretty well, but overall, you know, just in sort of the areas where it really counts, it seems to be lagging behind the green one and the Midland. Overall thoughts on the green one. The green one is a pretty good unit. I would highly recommend it over the Frost power, even though it doesn't have any kind of brand name. It has a little bit brighter of a reading light. The main overall light is definitely brighter. It has a battery indicator that tells you the exact battery charge level versus the Frost power that doesn't display what the battery level is, just whether it's dead or not. The audio is much better than the Frost power, and just overall, I think it's much better value for the money. What I'm going to keep for myself and my family is going to be the Midland. Overall, the Midland does have the most heavy-duty field with it. The radio tuner is by far the best, and it's much easier to get the radio stations you want. Also important to me is the alerts feature that actually signals you and catches your attention if there is some sort of a problem. And just the overall quality of it. So I ran all of them for several hours to see what would happen, and this one lasted by far the longest compared with the others. So I have some high suspicions about the actual batteries used in the Frost power and the green one not being totally accurate, but the Midland had overall the best lifespan when it came to the battery, and just kind of day to day, it's what I preferred.